Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From the inspiring story of 76-year-old Reynaldo serving in the altar in Colombia to the opening of the new Korean Christian History and Cultural Center in South Korea promoting historical awareness among the faithful, we have many stories to cover. Age and physical limitations haven't stopped Reynaldo José Osorio Muñoz from serving the altar. Now 76 and using a wheelchair, he continues to carry out his ministry with devotion and joy at his parish in Colombia. Every time he assists at the Mass, he does it wholeheartedly, driven by love for God, the Church, and his fellow parishioners. Let's have a look at his heartwarming story. Age and physical ability are no barrier. At 76 years old, the wheelchair-bound Reynaldo José Osorio Muñoz remains dedicated to serving God at the altar of his parish in Colombia. With love and dedication, he serves the altar at Mass with all his might, dedicating his service to God, the Church, and his fellow parishioners. Reynaldo lives at the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary Senior Citizen Wellness Center, a faith-based institution dedicated to the comprehensive care of senior citizens. It's been a year since Reynaldo has been serving as a sacristan at the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary Parish in the Diocese of Santa Marta, capital of the Colombian district of Magdalena. In an interview with ACI Prensa, he shared that his journey of service began with the simple task of ringing the bell to let fellow residents at the center know the Mass was about to begin. Over time, these small acts of service blossomed into a deep and heartfelt commitment to serving at the altar. He expressed that for him, it's a beautiful and unexpected blessing, especially at his age. He said, quote, "I never imagined I would be doing this, but God placed me in this role and I'm deeply grateful for it," end quote. While he recognizes his physical limitations, he emphasized that he carries out his ministry with all the love, all the joy, and everything he is able to offer. Reynaldo said that for this task, God has enlightened him so he could do it. That's why he do it with all the love and appreciation. And ever since he started taking the service, he feels satisfied because he served the God, the Church, and with all his love, enjoyment, and everything he can manage to do. Father Mario Rafael Gonzalez Gracia, the parish priest, doesn't see Reynaldo in terms of his physical limitations. In an interview with ACI Prensa, the parish priest described him as someone cheerful, lively, and talkative, full of faith, and blessed with a great sense of humor. While many are drawn to the promising careers of engineering and medicine in the US, 35-year-old brother Matthew and brother Anthony have chosen a different path, one of joyful commitment to priesthood and the celebration of the Holy Eucharist. This moment not only marked a personal milestone for the two men, but beautifully testified to the Lord's providence, calling and preparing faithful servants in extraordinary ways to labor in His vineyard. Amidst the enviable prospects of engineering and medical profession in America, 35-year-old brother Matthew Jacob and brother Anthony are happily sitting down to become priests who will celebrate the Holy Eucharist. On August 9, 2025, brother Matthew received the title of deacon and brother Anthony the title of subdeacon from the Bishop of Syro-Malabar Catholic Church in Chicago, Mar Joy Alapat, at the Rajagiri Church in Kalamassery in India. This was a reflection of the great work of Lord who chooses faithful workers in wonderful way to work in his vineyard. Brother Matthew is a son of late Jacob Matthew and Alfonsa of the Pallivatukal family in Vaikam. He completed his engineering from Rajagiri College and worked for 8 years in Kochi and later moved into the New York office of the multinational company General Electric. Later, realizing his calling, Matthew, who is also a Jesus Youth activist, left everything and took up the priesthood. Brother Anthony, hailing from Chertal Vatsala Kunnupuram family who completed his Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery from Thrissur Amala Medical College is a son of Thomas and Rani. He completed his specialization in internal medicine from the United States. In 2015, he was assigned to social service in the poor country of Haiti as part of the Jesus Youth Mission. A year of mission work inspired him to pursue the priesthood. Both Brother Matthew and Brother Anthony studied at St. Vincent de Paul Regional Seminary in Florida, and Brother Matthew completed his 5-year study and was elevated to the rank of deacon on Saturday, August 9th, while Brother Anthony, who entered the 4th year of study, was elevated to the title of subdeacon. Both the deacons say unanimously that this path is not their choice but God's calling. Vatican Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin is visiting Burundi from August 12th to 18th, 2025 to mark 60 years of the diplomatic ties between the Holy See and the East African nation. A foundation stone will be laid for a healthcare center in memory of Archbishop Michael Aidan Courtney, who was killed in 2003. The jubilee concludes with a closing mass in Jijita. Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin arrived in Burundi on August 12th at the invitation of the local church and national authorities, Vatican News reported. His week-long visit marks the close of the Jubilee celebrating 60 years of the diplomatic relations between the Holy See and the East African nation. The program includes the August 14th laying of the foundation stone of a health center at the site where the Archbishop Michael Aidan Courtney, papal nuncio from 2000 to 2003, was killed during the country's civil war. The center was announced last year by President Evariste Ndayishimiye as a tribute to the Irish prelate's role in peace negotiations. Parolin's itinerary features mass with episcopal conference, meetings with government leaders, and visits to the Marian Shrine of Mugera and the capital Gitega. He will also inaugurate a memorial at the Apostolic Nunciature. The visit concludes on August 17th with a Jubilee closing mass at the Shrine of Notre Dame Troyes for his admirable de Schoenstatt, where St. John Paul II celebrated the Eucharist in 1990. Church officials said the events honor both diplomatic ties and enduring witness of Archbishop Courtney. South Korean police have arrested a 40-year-old Muslim man of Pakistani origin for allegedly having ties to the banned terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Taiba. According to a statement released by the Provincial Police Agency, the man entered the country in 2023 by posing as a businessman. He was working as a clerk in a local market when the national agencies apprehended him after uncovering his alleged involvement in plotting a terrorist attack.
South Korean police have reportedly arrested a Pakistani man for allegedly having ties to the terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Taiba. The man, who is in his 40s, was arrested by the Gyeonggi-Nambu Provincial Police Agency and was found to have violated multiple provisions of the Act on Counterterrorism and the Immigration Act. The Korea Herald, a daily newspaper in Seoul, reported that the man was working as a clerk at a local market in Itaewon-dong, a lower-income neighborhood in the city. During his stay in Itaewon-dong, he was alleged to have been plotting multiple terrorist attacks, which he intended to carry out at various locations in South Korea. According to a press conference held by Seoul police, the man entered South Korea in December 2023 using a visa obtained from a South Korean consulate in Pakistan. Officials stated that he had joined the Pakistani terrorist group in 2020 and had received training in the use of weapons and infiltration tactics. The incident highlights the threat of Pakistani terrorism extending beyond the nation's borders into East Asia. Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, a terrorist organization founded by Hafiz Saeed, the mastermind of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, has been placed on the United Nations Security Council's terror watch list for its adherence to jihadist ideology.
European superpowers have issued a warning to Iran over its plans to resume nuclear activities. In a letter to the UN Secretary General, the foreign ministers of the UK, France and Germany cautioned that they could trigger the snapback mechanism if Tehran fails to return to the negotiations on the nuclear deal.
European heavyweights are preparing to impose sanctions on Iran as reports of Iranian officials planning to resume nuclear programs emerge. The foreign ministers of Germany, France, and the UK, jointly called E3, wrote a sensitive letter to UN Security General Antonio Guerrero and threatened Iran with diplomatic retaliations unless Iran officials take steps to resume negotiations with the US over its nuclear program. The British Daily Times was able to obtain the letter written by UK three foreign ministers, Jean-Noël Barrot from France, Johann Wadephul from Germany, and David Lammy from the UK. The letter contains an ultimatum to Iran to reach a diplomatic solution before the end of August 2025, or the E3 will trigger a series of retaliatory measures, which was defined in the letter as snapback mechanism. This is not the first time the E3 countries have threatened Iran with retaliation, as similar warnings have been issued previously. The snapback mechanism from the UN is process that will reimpose UN sanctions on Tehran that were lifted under a 2015 deal in return for restrictions on Iran's nuclear program. However, the United States withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018 under the Trump administration and reimposed sanctions. International Desk, Shekinah News.
A new Korean Christian History and Cultural Center opened on August 12, 2025 in Seoul's Onpong district, marking the 140th anniversary of Protestant missions in Korea. Funded by national and municipal support, the center hosts exhibitions, archives, and educational programs that trace Korea's Christian social history from the missionary era to the present day. The initiative aims to foster historical awareness among believers and society. The Korean Christian History and Culture Center was inaugurated yesterday, August 12, to mark the 140th anniversary of Protestant missions in Korea, according to Christian Daily. The center, funded with about 10 billion Korean won in national and municipal support, includes a permanent exhibition hall, exhibition space, multipurpose hall, reading room, and archives displaying artifacts such as 1906 missionary postcard, early mission journals, and the New Testament translated by James S. Gale. The permanent exhibit, Moments Where Faith Was Beautiful, highlights Christian contributions to Korean society from the early mission period in the early 2000s. Special collections include A Very Ordinary Weekend, which explores themes of rest and leisure, and To Joseon from Korea, which displays links between early Western missionary work and today's overseas mission. The center also hosts academic seminars, docent trainings, and participates in a Christian museum network. At the opening, Foundation Chair Reverend Yoon Hoon Lee urged believers to develop a historical consciousness and discern God's will. The center's director noted that it welcomes visitors of all backgrounds, including non-Christians, to showcase the Korean Church's cooperation with society. Seoul's mayor praised Christianity's role in medicine and welfare, describing it as a monument that will share Christian heritage with future generations. That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.